me, very big news. This is the second generation Kia Telluride and our first chance to look at it in person. So in today's video, we're going to walk through the features on this car, look at it inside and out, and we'll tell you everything that we know so far. And this is a massively important vehicle for Kia, especially in the US market. As I mentioned, this is our first chance to get to look around this new Kia Telluride, and there are quite a few details that we don't yet know about this vehicle, but it is very close to production. That much we do know. They're saying that early first quarter even of 2026, these cars should be hitting showrooms, which is pretty impressive because this still looks very prototypey. And that's really cool. They've given it a lot of hard edges and made the new Telluride look very modern, especially from the front end. So let's start off the video talking about styling, because as you walk up to the new Telluride, that's the first thing you're gonna notice. This is clearly still a Kia Telluride. I think anyone who's seen the Telluride in the past would walk up to this and immediately know exactly what it is. However, they've changed up the details quite a bit, and there's a few interesting things going on. Starting out with the front end, it has very recognizable daytime running lights here up at the front. One of all of our favorite things about the original Kia Telluride were those amber running lights you could get. And this obviously has that same thing going on, but there's something interesting about these running lights. The shape of this would make you think the headlight would be right in between those two daytime running lights, but instead actually it's to the center. So it's in between the grille and the running light right here. So it's a very boxy, sharp design, really cool running light if you ask me. And the model that we're looking at right now is one of the more rugged X Pro versions. Because this is an X Pro, we've also got recovery points here up in the front. We'll see them in the rear as well. And Kia, one of the few numbers that they've given us is that this will have 9.1 inches of ground clearance. So that's not too bad. Now there are some things about this car that are likely not finalized. So right now we see a Continental cross contact. This could very well be the tire that these reach production with, or that could potentially be subject to change. But they are going to give these X Pros clearly a more aggressive tire package, and there's a few different wheel options that Kia have said they're going to offer on the Telluride. If you get a more rugged X Pro like what we're looking at now, you'll have an 18-inch wheel. They have also mentioned that you'll be able to get a 20-inch wheel and a 21-inch wheel depending on what trim you go for as well. Now if we look at the rest of the exterior, something that a lot of people have pointed out are these taillights. These taillights do look very Range Rover, as does a lot of the shape here on the rear end. But that's really not such a bad thing because those are good looking SUVs as well. And the overall shape and silhouette of this new Telluride is very recognizable, and I would say actually looks really good. And here from the back end, you can see more recovery points. Now, overall dimensions, they have made the new Telluride about an inch taller. It's 2.3 inches longer overall, but 2.7 inches longer in the wheelbase. So it's a little stretched, and that means you will have some extra room in the interior. And there's a few cool details going on with the exterior as well. For one, this particular color combo and the way that it's spec'd does have a bit of a floating roof design. So I like the fact that they didn't just go completely black on the top. It's still body color, but there's a little separation here on the D-pillar. There's also this very distinct notch at the top of the wheel arch that interlocks into the rest of the sheet metal. The rocker looks to be a little bit more rugged as well. It is kind of a gloss black, so that could potentially get a little bit scuffed up. And then these door handles will also be handles that will go flush when you're moving down the road. And when you approach a car and unlock it, they'll pop out as you see here. Now let's check out the interior of the Telluride. This particular one is spec'd out in pretty much all black, so it's a little harder to see some of the detail and some of the materials that they're going to offer on these different models. They did have a display that showed a few of the different color options you will be able to get, and there's some really cool two-tones in there. This one is a little bit more monochromatic, but there's still nice accent lighting here on the interior, here on the dash. They're a little bit on the door card as well. And it's a very futuristic, kind of minimalist cabin, but not to the extreme, which I like. So let's look at a couple things. For one, we've got some seat controls, heated steering wheel, ventilated seat, memory. That's all pretty nice. We've got all of our switch gear for the windows and the mirrors here on the left where you would expect it. And then on the steering wheel, for one, it's a very boxy design, but we've got genuine buttons on the steering wheel. It's not touch sensitive controls. Then of course, we've got a couple of screens here in the center and in the driver display. They're all connected to each other, but it would appear that our climate controls are dedicated hard switches here below the screen, which is always something that we appreciate. That means you'll actually be able to go through, use those things even if you have gloves on, and they never move. So I love the fact that that's not integrated into the screen. We've got a little roller for the volume as well, and a few shortcuts, so that's pretty nice. It would appear that this prototype also has 2 wireless chargers up here in front of the center console. We've got grab bars that are built into the center console, which is cool. It's a pretty elegant design. And it's a overall really nice looking console. It's very clean. There's not too many switches or things going on, but it's still got everything you need for it to be very functional. Something else interesting is that your drive selector is right here below and in front of the steering wheel, as is your start-stop button, it appears. I also really like the mix of materials that are here on the seat as well. A few different fabrics, and they are pretty comfortable. But let's quickly check out the back seat. Now you might be able to tell as I'm walking through this car, I sound a little out of breath, and it's because there's a lot of people that need to get in and check out these vehicles, so I've only got 20 minutes to look at the car. So I'm trying to do this as fast as I can, but it's a comfortable back seat. We've got our little shades here in the rear. Looks like heated and a ventilated seat here on the door, which is also pretty nice. And we've got this console that slides out in the rear compartment. And there's even some climate controls up here at the top, as well as vents. So that's all really nice. And while I'm at it, I'll check out the third row as well, which is a little tight. It's not as spacious as like a Grand Highlander, so there are bigger third row seats. But it works, especially if you were to slide this seat forward just a little bit, because I had plenty of room up there. So it honestly might not be even that bad, but I still have vents back here. I've got a USB-C port and cup holders, so it's potentially really not a bad place to sit. And if you do want some more space in the third row, you can slide the seat forward and also get it out of the way using this switch right here to tumble it and make it a little more accessible to get back into that third row. And these seats recline. There's also a switch right here to tumble it, so you get a couple options. Now, as I said, there are still a lot of things that we don't yet know about this Kia Telluride, but while I'm here, I can at least pop the trunk and show you in back. So this is how it looks with the third row up currently as it is. You still get a bit of space, and if you were to fold that down, then you would have quite a bit of room. And there's a 12-volt power socket there, as well as a 150-watt power socket here. And you can also fold down the second row seats using these switches, which is nice. That makes things very convenient. And this is also a power liftgate. So a few of the things that we don't know. Obviously, we don't know a lot of the powertrain specs. We don't know fuel economy. We don't know price. Those things are going to come later. Now, though we don't know those numbers yet, there is a few things we can infer. I don't want to speculate too much, but the Hyundai Palisade is updated, and it has a 3.5 liter V6 and a 2.5 liter hybrid powertrain. The V6 has 287 horsepower, and the 2.5 liter hybrid system produces about 329 horsepower combined. It's reasonable to think that the Telluride is going to mimic some similar options there. The current Telluride uses a 3.8 liter V6 with 291 horsepower, so we'll probably see that updated to those new powertrains that you find in the Palisade. Although at the moment, we don't know if they're going to use both of those or just one, or if they're going to make any tweaks to it. So like I said, that's all speculation, as is price. We don't know where the pricing is going to start at or what it's going to work up to. The current Kia Telluride you can get into for under $40,000, so it would be nice if they keep a similar price range to that. But all of that remains to be seen. The rest of this car. A lot more is going to be revealed at the LA Auto Show coming up very soon. So let me know what you all think of the design of this new Kia Telluride in the comments below. I've got to say, I looked at some pictures of this online, and certain styling elements like the front end I wasn't too sure about initially. Seeing it in person, I actually think that this is a really good looking vehicle. So that's all for this video. We'll see you in the next at alltfl.com.